All right, I'd like to call to order the City of Monona Sustainability Committee meeting for Tuesday, March 28th. Thor, you've got the roll
Yes.
under control there.
Mhm.
Is there can I ask for a motion to approve the minutes from the February 9th meeting? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Wonderful. Is there a second?
I was not at the meeting. That was the day of the fire at our house, so I don't think I can make any motions on that one.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second. Are there any corrections, any inaccuracies that anybody wants to point out?
There was one quick one I saw under B, natural lawn permits.
Yeah.
It says commission instead of committee.
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
Force a habit, and I know Thor
Yep.
is on some commissions. Yeah.
Yep.
Anything else? Good eye, Susan. Hearing nothing else, all in favor of passing the minutes as amended by Susan? Say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Wonderful. All right, so let's, tonight should not be that long of a meeting. We've just got two things we want to really focus on tonight, which are just getting our scope determined for the No Mow May spring campaign. And then before that, though, Thor's going to get us up to speed on what's going on with his work for the Earth Day e-cycling event and maybe some action that we may have to decide on. So Thor, why don't you go ahead, and since you've really been doing all the work on that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna just share my screen because I've got a lot of materials. Okay. All right, so let me know if you're seeing my screen here.
Yes, I see the
Okay.
website. Mhm.
All right, so yep, Earth Day e-cycling event is on the books for Saturday, April 15th. That's the Saturday before Earth Day, 8 a.m. to noon. It's at the MGSD offices in the parking lot there, Nichols School or MG21. There's a lot of different names for this location, which will be one of the difficulties of getting the message out. And we've got the contract signed with Resource Solutions. They'll be providing the same services as last year, but a little bit expanded. They'll be taking some full-size appliances this year, which they didn't last year. And it's going to work kind of the same way, where some items are free to recycle and other items there will be a fee associated with. And folks who attend will just have to, they'll cut a check or give cash to Resource Solutions. And Reynolds Urethane Recycling will also be there to provide free styrofoam and cardboard recycling. That was popular in past years as well. So we're excited to have them. I've put together the city website. If you go to mymonona.com/recycling, it'll relink you to here with all of the details. So this has, what items can be recycled and what the fees are, and some information about last year's event as well. And Resource Solutions also sent out a flyer to 1,000 households throughout the city. That was built into the contract fee, which is really great because they can do it for a lot cheaper than we can. This was the flyer. It's just all the same information condensed onto a postcard. Basically, it looks really busy, I know, but they had a quick turnaround with this, and ultimately this is what was approved, and it has all the necessary information. So I was happy with it. But so that went out to 1,000 homes, and next steps. Let me pull up the project plan here.
And by the way, in the packet, Thor included a screenshot of these, spreadsheets, but there's also a link you can click if you wanted to get into the live document. I'll be updating that document dynamically and as we're talking tonight. So If anyone cannot get to it, just let me know.
Yeah, and in the March e-newsletter, I put a little blurb about the recycling event in there. I think it'll be too late to get this included in the April newsletter. The event will be held before that actually goes out. So for spreading awareness from here on out, we plan to do some PSAs. Those haven't been recorded or aired yet. So that's something that we need to nail down. Then we're also hoping to do some press releases, in the Herald Independent, or I think last year there was even a press release in the Isthmus newspaper on like their calendar events. So can look into doing those. And then I'll also be doing some social media posts, the weeks leading up to the event, just to spread word there. Resource Solutions does want 2 or 3 volunteers there to help out with the event, just coordinating traffic flow, directing people where to go, collecting checks and hauling materials and whatnot. I'll be there, and I think Teresa will be there. So we're still looking for 1, maybe 2 more volunteers. If you have time that day, let me know, and we'll find someone for you to do. We're also hoping to spread the news about No Mow May at the event. So if you're interested in that kind of crossover, we're going to have yard signs available, and I hope some like informational flyers. So as cars are waiting and you're just chatting with people, you can just hang in their window and ask them if they know about No Mow May and see if they're interested in learning more.
Thor, I know that Resource Solutions said we only need 2 or 3 people, but in the past we've had probably 7. I mean, we've all just sort of showed up. It's nice. So don't hold back if you want to show up, but you don't think you're needed. That's not true. Come on down, and it's always just nice to hang out in the morning, drink some coffee, and do good work for the world. But
I'm happy.
We've got the yard signs that we'll have there, and I'm guessing, we could always ask for donations at the time. That'd be nice too. If we had other flyers, we could hand those out too. I think it's probably, I'd like to not hand out our Don't Be Salty bookmarks. Let's conserve those for next year, but the No Mow May yard signs would be nice to hand those out.
Yeah. Yep, and those just got printed. We've got 50 waiting for us. We've got lots to.
Fantastic.
And then other exciting thing is Teresa's been coordinating with Will Nimmo, the community media director, about having a drone do some filming of the event, so we can advertise that afterwards, do a little time lapse and just show how many people come. I think it'll be really cool.
Sure.
If you've been there in the past, you can imagine how fun that could be, just to have those cars like buzzing around that parking lot and people running and grabbing things and dropping stuff off, and it's fun. Thor, did you get any information on how are they going to handle, like, if someone drops off a large appliance? Are they going to have like skid loader? I mean, how are those going to be physically handled?
Yeah, that I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm hoping that no one will have to, get out of their car and move heavy equipment around. But I'll double check with Resource Solutions. And that's just a good reminder. If anybody has any questions about how this process is going to work, let me know and I'll get in contact with them. Their CEO, Laura, was going to join us at our last meeting to go over all these minute details, but we of course had to cancel that. So if there's any questions, I'll just communicate with her over email instead.
So Thor, in years past, what they've done is they brought pallets to put the large items on, and then they just had a pallet jack, and the truck they had a lift gate on the back, so they could just roll it on there with the pallet jack, and then the lift gate, loaded it into the truck. So you didn't have to have people, big strong guys didn't have to lift it up onto the tailgate of a semi,
Yeah, but like
I would
getting
guess
it
that's
out of
probably what they'll do again. we'll see. I can probably come for part of that day. My daughter's got a soccer game that morning, but after she finishes up, she came over last year. She had fun checking it out, so we'll come over for an hour or two afterwards.
She was a cutie. So I'm trying to think, last year though, Ken, they did not take refrigerators, did they? I don't
No, but they
remember
took
such
air
big
conditioners and
items.
dishwashers. I didn't see
Yeah,
any.
oh, yeah,
refrigerators, But they took some dishwashers and air
Kind of
conditioners.
medium size. Yeah, they did. Okay. Large stuff. That's fantastic. So as you're looking over that do list, you see there's PSAs. I think I can handle the press release or get someone to write that up. But would anyone be interested in going into the VMO studios to record some press releases?
And I'll say you don't have to write the PSAs. We have some old ones that are already written. I'll just tweak them so they, work with the current event details. But it's a fun experience to go into the studio and record and just get your voice on the airwaves. So yeah.
Which is why I will volunteer, because I had so much fun with it for the, winter salting campaign, working with Will in there. So, but are happy to do it with someone else too.
I'd be happy to do it too.
Great.
Great. All right. Thank you, Sue and Kristen. I'll get you coordinated with Will and Brennan, and we'll find a time that works.
Okay.
I had a question about the drone. Do you think it might be possible once we get that drone footage to have the students try and make like a time-lapse video that we could consolidate down into 60-second YouTube commercial for the
That's
future?
what I'm hoping. That's what
Yeah,
I'm hoping for,
awesome.
Ken. Yeah, because you're thinking of the rooftop solar.
Yeah.
So we did that for the solar. It was amazing. The thing was though that you had a mounted camera, whereas a drone, Will was saying that the batteries die out pretty fast because it takes so much power to keep the thing in flight. So I don't know. Is there a way that we could mount a camera? I don't know. I mean, that would be another option. But if it's for a drone, it might be hard to get more than a couple hours of footage. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, the whole event's only 3 hours. Even if we
Right.
filmed for 30 minutes, if they could edit it
Right.
down to a 60-second video would be great,
Right. I agree. Yeah. Okay. Anything else, Thor, that we need to know about this event? I mean, you've coordinated, done everything. It's wonderful.
Yep. I'll send out more info as we get closer for anyone who plans to attend, to volunteer. I'll try and coordinate with Public Works to get safety vests and all the protective equipment that we need, and Resource Solutions will really take care of the rest, and I think it should go well. Hopefully we have some good weather so we're not standing out in the rain.
One other question, does Reynolds or Resource Solutions or whatever, do they design, because we're working with also the styrofoam and all the other things there that might need to be, do they design the space to work for them, or who does that so that will go smoothly?
Yep. Sorry, it's a kind of a small image here, but they've designed a traffic flow map, and they've got a couple different options here. They're worried that some of their trucks might not fit under the trees along Nichols Road, so they went out and scoped out the foliage, and if the trees are too full by that time, they can't get their trucks. They have an alternative plan to this. So, yep, that's all taken care of, Sue.
Yeah, and coordination with the other people that are there for recycling.
Yep,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point, Sue, because the Ahuska parking lot is quite large
Different, yeah, very.
and compared to this lot. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be able to show up for a couple hours as well on the 15th.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Oh,
Hey,
one other
do you
question.
think we need signs out on Monona Drive, like just pointing, like e-cycling event, like put some signs at the corner of the stoplight there?
That's exactly what I was gonna ask. Yeah, right. So, yeah, with.
How
that's-
can
Yeah,
we
I
make
do
that
think that'd be
happen
helpful.
easily?
Yeah, I wonder if we can just like use one of our existing yard signs and just put some paper over it that would,
I think-
print out, I don't want to go through the process of
I know,
printing
I know.
$15 yard sign for that.
I
but
think we can take a campaign sign and just flip it out inside out and just artwork on it too. That would be perfectly okay to do that.
yeah.
Sue, does that sound like something that you'd like to do?
I don't know. You're trusting my artwork?
Yeah. All you need to do is have big letters, e-cycling arrow. That's all you have to do. What?
I could probably handle that.
You could just print out letters from on a printer or just like, and if you need the campaign signs, I've got plenty in my garage. And again, you could just flip them inside out and stick the wires in the ground and
Well,
so.
I'll connect with you, Thor, to get the specifics of how many and what exactly you want on them and that kind of stuff, and then I can execute.
That sounds good. All right. Thanks for taking that on, Sue. That's a big help.
That's great.
Sue, I just wanted to put out there that I think you and I are neighbors. So if you want another pair of hands, just let me know.
Oh, fantastic.
That's sweet.
Where are you?
On Stone Terrace.
Oh, yeah, we are.
Yeah,
I should have known that. I don't know why, but I didn't.
no worries. We're a
Great,
few houses away, so, okay.
super. All right, great.
And I could show up too, at the event as well, so.
Great.
Great. Okay. Well, I think that covers what I had for e-cycle event. Teresa, do you have anything else?
No, thank you for the website. Looks fantastic. And just to verify, Thor, you've already got the PSAs written.
Yep, yeah.
All
PSAs are
people
ready
have,
to go.
all people have to do is show up. Do you want people to reach out to you to coordinate, or you want to email coordinate with Joe Martin or Kristen? You had a question about that, maybe?
Not about that. I
Oh.
can wait if you guys wanted to finish that thought.
Okay. Thor, how do you want people to coordinate the
Yeah,
recording? of the
I'm happy
PSA?
I can send an email tomorrow, just
Okay.
with Sue and Kristen and
Okay,
the community media folks and just
Okay.
introduce the idea and find a time that works.
sure.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So that's our Earth Day event. Are we ready to move
Mm.
on to the spring campaign?
Kristen, what was your question?
Yeah, I
yeah.
just wanted, I noticed that we had a reach consensus as a committee for suggested donation price.
Yes, yes. Glad you brought that up. But that's more. Was that on the?
Next one down.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, so we spent $12.50 per sign and we had 50 printed, so it was like $625 total, but thought that we'd recoup some of that through donations.
I'm on the fence about this. At first I thought we should charge $10 and now I'm like, I don't know.
Could we request a $5 to $10 donation?
I would be very happy with that. I mean, there was never really a way to enforce or collect, but a donation is always acceptable. So, yeah. So perhaps it's just as easy as that. Whoever would like to be in charge of handing out signs or selling signs or requesting a donation, I mean, you can just ask for a donation. Is there anything we need? I don't think we need any more formal discussion unless there's anyone that's strongly opposed to that or.
I think
Any
having
other-
it as a donation is good. You wouldn't want the $10 to be a barrier to
Right.
somebody that would otherwise participate.
I agree.
But at the same time, if you don't ask people to pay for the sign, then everybody's just going to take them for free. And, that's not a sustainable model either.
Right.
So
Right.
I think, if you ask, a lot of people will voluntarily, cough up the
And
10.
we, yeah, and does it matter if people are not from Monona? People who buy a sign, does it matter where they're from? Any strong feelings on that?
Do we anticipate having people that are not from Monona there?
I think word gets out. I mean, if we have a press release in the Madison newspapers.
Yeah, that could be.
I think that would be hard to, kind of
I agree.
filter that out.
Hard to enforce if we have to start checking people's IDs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think, I have no problem with, if someone from, McFarland Cottage Grove, I have no problem with them donating $10 for a sign and putting it out in their yard. I think it's great. Just keep the momentum moving out through all the other communities. I'm fine with that. I just wanted to make sure
And then all those people that live in Cottage Grove can see how cool Monona is, and they'll have to up their game. So
they'll be like, where'd you get that sign? Oh, it's Monona.
yeah, that's right.
All right, so we'll ask for a donation, $5 to $10, keep it casual. Okay, that's fine with me. Is anything else? Are we ready to go on to No Mow May? The thing about, before we do, if you're looking at the Earth Day, if you're looking at the e-cycling sheet, you'll see at the very top, and it's also on the No Mow sheet, there's an objective, like what do we hope to accomplish with this event, with this campaign? And I wanna make sure that we, at the end of the meeting tonight, that we come to a consensus. I mean, the Earth Day cycling event, that's a pretty straightforward objective. Collect as much stuff as possible. For the spring campaign, and I keep calling it spring campaign because I think we might want to consider a name for the campaign. For our winter campaign, we had, don't be salty. We had a winter salting awareness campaign. For spring, we've called it No Mow May in the past, but I want to sort of challenge this group to consider No Mow as a strategy that is part of one strategy that is part of a larger, need for healthy landscapes, pollinator food, healthy soils, tilth, water retention, all that stuff. So I'm not sure what we want to call it. Do we want to just, I don't know. Healthy landscapes. I don't know what we want to call it, but No Mow May last year was sort of like our big, it was all about No Mow May, but No Mow May is not a magic bullet. So it opens up a really good conversation though. It's a great tool for getting that started. So as we look over the list of things we could do and could include, that might inform, what we want to call the campaign. And I just want to come to consensus on, how long should our to-do list be? And are there enough worker bees to get all this done? Just so you know, I reached out to probably 6 or 8 people who have in the past year submitted an application to be on a city committee. And they listed the sustainability committee as one of the committees they'd be interested in. And so I circled back with them all, and I just let them know that while there is no available open seats at the moment on the committee, we do have this spring campaign that we'd love you to help if you would be interested in volunteering. And so far I've heard back from 2 people who are very interested in helping out. So if we don't have a name in every assigned task, I just wanted to put that out there, that I think we're going to get some extra help. So that's really great to hear. And I think it's also going to be nice for just getting volunteers in the pipeline, because sometimes it's hard to find volunteers. And this is just a nice way for people to wade in slowly on a project basis. It's not a big 2-year commitment or 3-year commitment. So, all right.
So Teresa, I like the idea of having some sort of a overarching objective for our
Yes.
activities. And I
Yes,
also think what we want to think about is like metrics by which we assess whether
Yes.
we were successful.
absolutely.
Like with the recycling event, the nice thing is that the organizer gives us a count at the end of how much they haul away. And I think we want to watch that metric, because if we notice that number keeps declining over time, then we know that we've, accomplished our goal of the clean sweep, and we maybe only need to do it every other year instead of every year or something like that.
Yeah,
Um, I think
100%.
for no mow May, the easy metric is like how many people are participating, right? Like how many people have yard signs. So that's an easy metric. I think in terms of the objective, what we really want is for people to take into consideration measures that they can do to make their yards and homes more sustainable, right? So we'd like them to do no mow May, but we'd also like them to think about, like, maybe I don't have to spray so much pesticide, right? Maybe I
Correct.
could plant some native plants on my yard. Maybe I
Correct.
could manage the rainwater better on my yard. So,
Right.
the objective is we really want to think about how they can make their yard more sustainable. Maybe they can plant a tree, right? There's all kinds of things that you can do to make the yard around your home more sustainable. No mow May is like an easy way to engage, because it doesn't require you to actually do anything. You just sit on your hands, right? It's like the
Right.
easiest possible sustainability action of them all.
Well, I think sustainable yards is a good idea.
Yeah,
Think a way of jazzing that up, but that is the overarching.
because it's all about the soil, but it's also about pollinators. I mean, it's like, yeah,
Reducing your use of fertilizer, right?
Mhm.
Less pesticides sprayed on the lawn, all of that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Bushes with berries.
We-
that
we
birds-
could
Yeah,
also,
sure. Food for animals and stuff like that. Yep,
we
absolutely.
could also measure success by the number of city departments that are participating. I reached out to Public Works, and they are going to up their game a little bit this year. They've got 3 small but very highly visible little patches of turf that they're going to set aside right down by the library, the community center, and the city hall, and we'll put some yard signs out there. And I think the message there is that you don't have to have your entire lawn dedicated. You can make a difference just with a small area. So I'm okay with that. Parks, unfortunately, is really struggling to participate because they are really concerned that when they let the grass grow so long, it creates an extra job the next month. That was the argument last year. It continues to be the argument this year. Something that I didn't think about, and I think this is valid, the concern was raised that when the grass is tall, there could be a bottle or a rock or a big chunk of something that the mower hits, and it could cause a costly repair. I'm not going to push too hard on parks, but it would be nice to find ways that they can participate. If we focus on planting native plants and creating pollinator gardens, the parks already has made some really great movement in that direction. And I think we could get them into the studio and give them a chance to really, feel good about the work that they've done, and sort of bring them along that way. They've got their reasons, for being able to participate in this, but not that.
No, that's a good thought, Teresa. I mean, there's no mow for grass, but there's also just no grass, right? Like, if you just get rid of the useless grass that we have
Exactly.
around town, we could do a lot cooler stuff. There's so
Exactly.
many little strips of grass that don't serve any function as play fields or lawns or anything else. It's just this nuisance that you have to maintain. And that's an area that parks, I think, could be pretty progressive about, is just identifying the areas of useless grass and putting something else in that space. And then they don't have to worry about mowing it anymore.
Ashley, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I was just wondering about, the idea of all of these kind of similar but separate campaigns in terms of May, if it makes sense to do some sort of like challenge or bingo card for, you know, residences specifically, and maybe even businesses in terms of like a tier 1 level will be, you know, NOMO, you know, that's kind of the easy entry. And then what if you also then add, you know, 10 square feet of non-grass habitat to your lawn, or then you add, you know, we could put together like a not a step-by-step plan, but kind of like additional items that folks could add to the list of things to improve their properties. So it's not like we're having to run multiple campaigns, but it's just a single campaign that people can choose to engage with at like whatever level they're able to engage with, either financially or time-wise.
Yeah, I like the idea if we were gonna hand out like a postcard for No Mow May, you know, on the back of the postcard, it could have, you know, here's, you know, half a dozen more ways to make your yard more sustainable, right? Plant a tree, remove useless lawn and replace it with native grass or something like that. You know, plant shrubs or flowers that provide berries for habitat for wildlife, that sort of thing. And if we, you know, if we combine that messaging, No Mow May could be part of a bigger, how do you make your yard more sustainable, right?
Right.
And I think the idea with my thought behind like a challenge is that maybe we could have like a sign up form so that we're tracking how many people are participating, and that they can keep track and self-report on what they're doing or what they plan on doing over the summer. So maybe it's just a, you know, a poll that we can put on the website, or I think that if you frame it as a challenge, then it encourages people to participate. And then on the back end, then maybe highlighting some of the great work that folks have done after the end of the month or at the end of the summer, to be able to highlight that.
Yeah, that's a clever idea. If we just set up like a Google form where people could, you know, real quickly click the actions that they had taken at their home, that would be pretty neat to see just how many people actually do it and if it increases over time. You know, maybe this year we only encourage 3 or 4 people to plant a tree, but maybe next year there's 10, you know?
Do participants get a free yard sign? I mean, we could promote it at the library and you could say, you know, I don't know. Something like that.
Let me ask one question too.
Sure.
Potentially, because this would create a lot of work for us possibly, or
Would.
maybe find teams to do it, is, you know, if you ask people to do a native garden, they may not know what's involved in that. You know,
Yeah.
what kind of things are acceptable. I mean, a lot of these things for folks are brand new, you know, the things that they haven't done before because they don't know how to do them or are worried about costs or other things. I mean, where is there some kind of support system we could give for them so that we know they do it correctly and don't put allergens or foreign
You just-
in the air, you know, or soil or whatever.
You reminded me of something, Sue. Thank you for bringing that up. Before we get too far along in throwing out ideas, you reminded me that we should really bring you all up to speed on the work that's already been done. And just make sure that everyone gets a chance to read what the ideas that are already on the project plan. One of them referring to native lawns that Sue just brought up. So if you look at row number 23, Thor and I are currently working on rewriting our ordinance, City of Monona's ordinance for native lawns. We've talked about this in our meeting. And as part of that campaign, we would also have an update on the website, which would explain. So we would explain, like, this is what it means to have a native lawn. This is a picture of what we're looking for. You know, native lawn does not mean neglected lawn. You know, this is an example of a pollinator garden. And as you scroll down through all of the things that we have talked about in the past or ideas that have come up that I've been tracking here, there is in the notes column a number of fields that have links to some great information One of them is in row 28, research how other cities are promoting this. Thor found a number of really great examples. The city of Superior, I put their link out there. If you have a chance to click on that, they've got some great stuff. We could update, they've got an ordinance, they've got photographs. It talks about native plants and the different links of the root systems and how it, I mean, this could turn into a really big, long list with a lot of work. So I hear what you're saying, Sue. That's why I want to make sure we are determining a doable scope with the understanding that we can always do more next year. But there's a lot to be said about this topic. So anyway, please take some time to click on those links and learn a little bit. There's some really cool stuff out there. One thing that we might do, row number 26, we might make Monona a bee city. And that might be one way that we can measure success, and that the Xerces Society or whatever it is, Bee City USA has a massive, just a already, shovel ready plan. Like, here's what you do to become a bee city. Lots of exploration that could be done there. But, we're at the end of March right now. So it could be kind of tricky to cram that all in.
Well, maybe,
Now, this could be, yeah, go ahead, Dan.
I was gonna say, maybe the focus is to start small and gauge and build interest. And I hear a lot of ideas, but I think we're gonna get more traction if we kind of pick a theme and a focus in terms of initial impact that we're trying to get. So I'm hearing a lot of good things. I think maybe starting a sign up list for people who's interested in kind of learning more about some of these future projects might be something that's easy to do as part of a No Mow May campaign. I think that the campaign I'm hearing needs like a focus and a theme. And so, my understanding for the reason we don't want people to mow is really to help the pollinators in the early emergence from feeding and flowering. So maybe we focus on educating, like not the thing no mowing, but the why no mowing, and kind of get traction there. Like, hey, BEE generous, skip mowing to feed the bees or something like that, where it's just more of a focus on trying to build and see what kind of interest we can get around people in the community to, making some kind of commitment, even if it's part of their lawn that they don't mow, that we give them a why. And then we maybe say, hey, if you're interested in learning more things that you can do with your, property in Monona, we want to, get you on our list to help, get new ideas out there rather than trying to do it all at once.
I do think, Dan, you have a good point. Like, this year we just want to get more people participating in No Mow May, right? And if they fill out that online form to get the sign, we'll have a list that we can then contact those people. Presumably if they do it once this year, they're going to continue to do it in future years, unless they have a really bad experience for some reason. But we'll have their contact information that, like next year we can reach out to them and say, hey, you've participated in the past. We hope you're going to not mow your lawn again. And if you're looking for some additional things that you might do in your yard, here's some ideas,
Right. Yeah, and I think even, Teresa, to the challenge of trying to get commitments in some of these public spaces, maybe it's not a don't mow the whole thing. Maybe it's like leave an unmowed strip as more of a, awareness thing, right? We want the city to create more awareness about why we're not mowing some of these areas, because the bees are coming out and they're looking for flowering plants, and everybody's like mowing their lawns and decimating all the flowers that are out there. So we want to make sure we are, being generous and providing, that opportunity so we help a collapsing bee population.
So Dan, are you thinking that maybe this is kind of what I'm hearing. I don't know if this is what you're saying. I'm hearing that maybe one way to sort of narrow the focus is to make it about bees.
Make it about early spring, right? And get it helping the bee population.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, with NOMO being one strategy, pollinator gardens being another strategy people could do, but it's just
that's a
keep it
that's a
about
great
the
follow
bees.
on for the year, right? Beyond
Follow
not
on,
mowing in
right.
May, it's like you could have a pollinator garden all year,
Right.
you know.
Right. So yeah, I think to me that makes a lot of sense. I mean, what are other people's thoughts? Do you think that that's a good way to sort of keep our focus a little more defined? Because otherwise we're going to get off on, you know, like planting trees and rain gardens and you name
kind of,
it.
yeah, I feel like if we put too many things out there, people won't do anything. You know,
Right.
it's the classic, you know, give somebody too many options and they won't choose. If
Yep.
you pick a focus and give them something they can have traction and give them a small, to me, it's like, you know, with kids, it's like, you want to go to bed now and you want to go to bed in
Right.
10 minutes,
Right.
right? It's, you know, give them some ideas, you know, just maybe if you don't want to not mow your whole lawn, just maybe don't mow part of it, you know, and this is the why you can do that. And it might just be you know, we're trying to create awareness, which I know is a important focus for the committee, awareness in the community. And the more focused and deliberate we can be around a theme, I believe we're going to have more sustainable impact.
I 100% agree with you.
I think
Kristen,
you're right in
you have your
saying that
hands
the
up?
library can help, and they are actually, we've been talking a lot, we're just coming out with our programming for next year. We've got about half of it established and identified speakers and
Next year or this year?
this year.
This year, okay. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, just so you kind of know, July 25th, we have a pollinator presentation at Aldo Leopold. And we'll also have a hands-on solitary bee house project going on there, so.
And when is that, Sue?
That's July 25th.
July 25th, and then in combination with building the bee houses, did you say?
Yes,
Same day?
same day, yeah, we're doing, I don't, it must be fairly simple. I'm hoping we'll be there.
Fantastic. That couldn't be, you know, I reached out to Sally at the library and then Ryan responded and then he kind of bounced me around to another person. So I did not hear back from the library. This
Yeah,
is a perfect, this,
We're
like,
trying to mesh it with what we're doing as much as we can to mesh with what we've got this year coming
yeah,
up, giving them the schedule and they know. So it's really Penny DePaula who is in charge of this program right now. And she and her husband and I probably are most intensive, but we've now got a couple more people in there who are very connected and very supportive of these programs. So we've got more bodies to help us get this all together. But yeah, we are trying to, as much as possible, do these things that are community oriented, supportive of, and we're able to coordinate everything with what's going on now, but we will try over the years to kind of, I think, as long as we can, to kind of build and support. You know, I think they're willing to do that and understand that that's helpful.
should I reach out to Penny?
Um,
Is that the contact person for the Eco Action events like this?
Well, you can go through me or her. I mean, we work very closely, so it doesn't matter. Yes. She ultimately, and her husband Ross is also, their house is amazing and all the stuff they do, they've got it all covered.
Yeah,
So,
I remember working with Penny when I was part of the Eco Action team. So that's great to know that she's still doing that. But I guess to bring it back to the theme of our campaign, I just feel even more motivated now to make this about bees because the library is already doing this about bees. And I mean, I think the power could be in coordinating with other, you know, city departments, you know, to all be talking about the same thing, you know, public works, parks, library, senior center is going to get in there too, just to make it about bees. So the thing also that I like about Dan's suggestion about narrowing this down is that we could, as one of our strategies, we could just pursue the Bee City USA you know, certificate or whatever it's called. And one of our volunteers or two could just, that could be their task, like do what we need to do to get us to be a bee city. If you go to that website, there's actually like, what do you call it? Like a resolution that we would put through city council. I mean, the toolkit is already there for us to just pick up and run with it.
Mhm. The other thing I kind of reflect, I mean, I like the idea of keeping the major focus along the end game being, you know, let's make things more natural all over the place and really work on this hard in terms of yards in general and everything that happens in them. But I think, you know, maybe focusing each year is not, maybe it it's a bee campaign this year, and then next year it's something else, some other offering that would be a starting point into that aspect of it, soil regeneration or composting in your yard or whatever it is that we choose to kind of, and that way we can coordinate a lot of the activities and focus on that. And maybe there's a little sign at the bottom, you know, that says the end goal on it, you know, this is so we there, but
Okay, so I would like to put names on the tasks that we're gonna do and get rid of the tasks that we're not gonna do. And if we can take any of these tasks off the plate, just because it's here doesn't mean we have to do it. But I'm looking at the spreadsheet, and so a lot of the things are just research that's already been done. But we're gonna need, again, PSAs, social media, press release. We've got bookmarks or flyers. We talked about a bingo card. We've got coordinating with the school district to get them to set aside some things not to mow like we did last year. It was suggested in our last meeting we could do some public artwork with the schools or a window painting contest. I don't know if we still have an appetite to do that, but anything that, I mean, as long as we've got a volunteer who wants to do it, I don't see why not. Eco Action Tuesdays, that's already started. I'll work with Sue on that. Got more volunteers on board. I would like to pursue this Bee City a little bit more and see what's involved in that. That would be great. A lot of the things are done though, beyond that. On row number 37, I would love somebody to dig in and do some research on the financial benefits that would come to our parks if they didn't mow. I think I found one study. I didn't look that hard, but you know, it sure would be nice to maybe approach it from that angle. But like Ken said, maybe just removing grass altogether would be easier than not mowing it. Row number 40, I don't know if we, with our winter salting campaign, Kristen and Ashley did some really great outreach to businesses. I don't know what opportunities would be there for businesses to participate in sort of a be active, be proactive campaign. But there is a local business in town who does green lawn care, and the library has contracted with this person. I hire them to do some aerating in my lawn, and what we're going to be doing is planting just a ton of clover in my grass. So perhaps where I'm going with this is, I don't know where the line is to, if we bring as a city entity, is it okay for us to promote a business? Or if there's a business that's doing the right thing, is it okay that we give them some spotlight, some free advertising, or is that showing, is that walking a line? Is that not fair to show favoritism toward a business in town? So, you know, what would it be? I don't know if unethical is the word. Is it okay to invite this person into the VMO studios and talk about green lawn care? And how you can plant clover so that when No Mow May comes around, your lawn actually is more beneficial to the bees. If you don't have time to plant a flower garden, or you don't have the energy to maintain a flower garden, just throw some clover seeds in your lawn. You know, that's a really easy way to participate. On row 41, there's actually a link to flowering lawns. A flawn. We can all have flawns. All you have to do is throw some clover seed in your grass, and then how easy is that for pollinator habitat, you know? So I'm kind of all over the place here.
Never thought of that. Where do you get clover seed from? I don't even know.
Anywhere. You can get it at a garden center, and the thing is, it's cheaper than grass seed. It's like way cheaper than grass seed. So after he aerates all my yard, I go over it with, I just scatter clover seed everywhere. And then it's a Dutch white clover it's the kind that I'm planting because I have clay soil and a lot of shade. But if you've got sunny, non-clay soil, you could do like micro clover, which kind of blends in a little better with the grass blades. It's really cool. This company, this floweringlawn.com, check them out. It's pretty cool, the sorts of things that you can do just with your lawn. You know, you don't have to.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. We've got a lot of violets that we really like, so I'd be curious what we might be able to throw down there.
Don't have to be a master gardener, or just plant a bunch of crocuses right in your grass. I mean, you don't have to have, fancy flowers. On line 42, Lindsay Wood Davis keeps approaching me. He wants us to get in the studios and sing All We Are Saying Is Give Bees a Chance. He wants us to do that Beatles spoof, which cracks me up every time I hear it, but he keeps talking about it. So of all this, we focus on bees. So getting back to our objectives. So at the very, very top of the page, I wrote raise residents' awareness about the importance of protecting pollinators, impact of No Mow May, increase No Mow May participants. Does that capture it, or do we say something specifically about bees?
I mean, increasing No Mow May participation seems like a continuation of last year and not necessarily a improvement on what was previously done. So I feel like if the project is going to move forward, then you have to have a broader scale objective than increasing participation in that one part of the program.
You could do something simple like No Mow, be happy.
To be fair, last year was kind of a slapdash thing pulled
It was
together in the
crazy.
11th hour. So
It was ridiculous.
wasn't really a concentrated campaign.
No, it wasn't. Kristen, did you have a question?
If we're going to be honest, we barely pulled it off last year,
We
right?
did. We barely did. And Ken and I just grabbed some money and bought some signs. It was crazy.
Well, it was a great start. But back to your question, Teresa, and kind of building on Ashley's point that moving it forward to expand it under a broader theme, maybe just putting the word, so I'm going to reread your objective here, but raise residents' awareness about the importance of protecting bees and other pollinators. So that could tie in, you've called out bees specifically. I like the idea of becoming a certified bee city. I guess, that's going to it's going to be some effort. So, you know, I'd be willing to look into what that kind of the commitment would be to get us through it. But I don't know what others think, but I really like Dan's idea about keep starting it with a narrower focus. But we do need to move beyond the no mow May as the only strategy. So. That was just my 2 cents.
Yeah. Yeah. Raise residents are the importance of protecting bees and other pollinators and strategies for increasing pollinator habitat, and then increase no mow May participant. So it kind of goes like, so why is this important? Because pollinators are crucial. We have to like do this. By delaying lawn mowing or changing. It's not just changing. So under like the why this is important, by delaying mowing or applying other strategies.
I think even just by saying by improving pollinator habitats.
All right, so. Okay.
Do you think that most people know the connection between, you know, pollinators and the entire food supply of the universe?
No, no, I think there's a lot of education.
And, you know, that's another thing we could just, you know, it could be something simple like, you know, bees, you know, pollen, bees, your food supply or something, you know, I don't know, it's sort of a simple messaging or just to kind of really give the importance of what that is.
I feel like all of it is right there on the Bee City USA website. I think we could probably just dig in to their template and do whatever it takes to become a Bee City. So if you go to that website, and I think it says apply. So beecityusa.org, and then at the top there's a menu that says Bee City USA apply, application steps, and then it just, we have a committee, but we might, like Dan said, we might, as a strategy, get a list of people that would be interested in. Dan, how did you put that? You were talking about tracking folks that might be interested in learning more or getting involved.
Yeah, starting a sign up list, interested in learning more. Yeah, sign up list.
Sally at the library is also very into bees, and I think she might know other people and that kind of thing. So maybe just doing that kind of a connection also.
Yeah, if you look at the application resources, they've got brochures and whole bunches of stuff. And then you apply. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is nice to piggyback on the work someone else is already doing. It's not that we're plagiarizing, we're just, you know, working smarter and supporting their work. What are your thoughts, guys? Do we pursue this? Do we pursue the Bee City thing? Or do we just sort of not?
Well, what I was kind of saying, Teresa, or thinking, maybe not saying very well, but, you know, the whole idea of going outside ourselves as just the committee and creating groups of people who in the community are already having these thoughts and having them having a way of provide, you know, building that project, and then, you know, we can always make sure that there's nothing, you know, that we're going to do that would be illegal or, you know, I mean, if there's some responsibility that way, but I don't know, as we as a committee, there are lots of people out there with different skills and interests and who are very passionate about things. And, you know, we obviously can't do all of this ourselves, but, you know, I guess that's what I'm trying to figure out is, can we still do this? I think it's a great idea. I'd like to see it, and each of these things can help people generally. The more publicity and the more support we have, that, and the understanding that this is global efforts and, you know, as well as local efforts, it just, I think it helps people feel, you know, more understanding of what's going on, or learn more about what's going on and the importance of it. But we can't do it all ourselves. That's,
Of course, right.
Yeah, I like the idea of connecting to the larger Bee City network. I think there's a lot to learn there from other folks that have been at this longer than we have.
yeah.
Especially if we start talking about trying to, you know, branch into other areas of sustainable lawns. I'm sure other cities have broached that topic too, and we can probably learn from their experience. And for our residents that are just getting, you know, started participating in this, it's nice for them to know that it's part of a larger initiative and a bigger network of communities too. So I'd support that for sure. I don't know what's all involved in making Monona part of that effort, but I think it's worth finding out and seeing if we can do it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
I also agree. Just the one thing is that the materials they have in terms of thinking about piggybacking materials for outreach, their brochure and bookmark specifically look at supporting other communities in becoming bee cities. It's not necessarily directed at
got it.
locality, at residents. I am happy to again put together you know, a brochure, a bookmark, or whatever, even just a PDF that we could share on the website about the benefits. I have a number of resources that I could pull from for that too. So if that's of interest to folks.
I mean, I think ideally what we'd like to see happen is if we have people participating in No Mow May in Monona, that they tell their parents or their kids or their siblings about it, and then those folks pursue similar initiatives in their own communities, right? And that would really magnify the impact that we would have, and this is a vehicle to make that happen. So I think that would be great.
So Ashley, and totally agree with you, Ken. And you know what? And maybe when we're handing out the No Mow May signs at the e-cycling event, maybe we do just we track who is taking a sign, and we do ask them, where are you from? And maybe that is how we measure success. You know, we had 10 participants in Cottage Grove, you know, 4 in McFarland. I mean, let's track that, you know, to measure it. Ashley, you talked about the resources on the Bee City website. I'm looking at a bookmark, and it kind of reminds me of that gorgeous bookmark you put together for the Don't Be Salty campaign. But yeah, like on the back side, we could, you know, how to be more, you know, pollinator friendly.
Right.
You know, do this, and that. And make it about pollinators and bees, not about how to become a bee city, but the things you can do to be more bee friendly. Yeah. Yeah, we can totally do that. So here's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing an awesome bookmark that Ashley can help put together. Maybe we put together a committee. So we got the yard signs and a bookmark. We have maybe a subcommittee that really digs into how we can be a bee city. We've got an ordinance that we're rewriting with a beefed up web page that's going to really explain exactly what it means. What is a natural lawn? With maybe a heavy emphasis on just throwing down some clover seed and attracting pollinators to your yard. We've got an eco action event already in the works that we can help to promote, advertise. Some
I can also take on the
PSAs.
research portion of the benefits of reducing grass or mowed area. I have access to university research journals. If that's of benefit to anyone.
Can you just
There's
put
also,
those links in there?
there's also coming up just in a couple days, a program Zoom class at Ulrich Gardens called Native Plants for Small Gardens. So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But
So
if that's, I don't know if it's published anywhere but it's finding things like that, that's just a quick and easy resource or a site that where someone who is acknowledged to be an expert on something and it's relevant to our area, that we can support things like that.
So Ashley, is it okay if we remove the bingo card challenge this year?
Yeah, I think my concern is just making sure that we're building on things going forward. So, we're pressed for time next year again, that we have some way to have some more measurable success. I just think that, I love the idea of collecting information from people when we are in person, but I want to make sure that we're having additional metrics. And I do think that a lot of younger folks specifically do have a lot more knowledge than we might think. So hopefully we can engage them on things that they're interested in around this topic and have those measurable ways.
Kristen, I saw you had your hand up a second ago.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw my name under the task of perhaps involved in the subcommittee to explore what becoming a bee city.
I would love that.
entail.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Sure.
All right, so we've got so we're actually going to be doing a lot of, I'm putting in bold some of the things that we will be doing. The resources, bookmarks, pollinator, okay, back to this row number 40. And then we want to get out of here before 8 o'clock, folks. So 15 minutes. What is the feeling of this group, or or maybe I just need to ask someone else. Do you think it would be appropriate to focus, to highlight a local business that has like a green lawn care, zero emissions? It's called Monona Lawn and Landscape, I think. If you go to Monona Lawn and Landscaping, they are carbon neutral. They do a lot of I don't know. I'm working with this guy to,
I think that's a slippery slope if we
It
start
is. I
advocating
agree.
for
I
individual
agree.
businesses, like pretty soon
agree.
everybody's gonna want their own free advertising from the Sustainability Committee.
Exactly. Exactly. I know that when Ashley and Kristen did the winter salt, campaign, they talked to so many business owners who were so jazzed about like sharing the strategies that they were using to manage ice. Like some of them were using like beet. Am I remembering this correctly? Like a beet juice?
Yep.
I mean, so it would be so nice to like somehow shine a positive light on people who are role modeling the behavior that we want, but at the same time, I know, Ken, how do we find that balance? Yeah.
Teresa, maybe it would be, if what you're wanting to do is, it sounds twofold, is to, kind of reward those who are providing services that, align with the sustainable ethic, but also to provide information. Because if I think I heard you say that, by having them on VMO, it would be an opportunity to educate people as well. Maybe the education piece can come from, if you were to have one of the businesses on it, it could be just from an educational kind of as a subject matter expert, but not promoting their business, or we find a subject matter expert to promote that educational piece. And then maybe there's some kind of like how Ashley and I are going to be putting together a lessons learned, that something that we could share as an after story, that maybe in a lessons learned, we could share how there are local, I mean, this might be slippery sloping it again, but local businesses that do practice this, that I don't know, some way of sharing this in a
I don't
different way
either. I know.
from- I don't know. But I do like the idea of providing, subject matter expert voices here and there through PSAs, or I mean, in addition to PSAs.
Mhm. There's so many experts out there already. Like, I just feel like, how can we do it differently? Like, how can we make it hyper local to Monona? But it's also a slippery slope by promoting a business. Yeah, I don't know. I'll ask the mayor and see what she says. How about that? I'll put my name on it and I'll ask. All right. So I'm also going to be working with parks a little closer and see what we can do there to get them on board a little bit. But so Ashley on the bookmark, Kristen with a little group of folks to do the subcommittee on becoming a Bee City USA. Thor and I are rewriting our ordinance. Sue and I are going to do some work with the library. Ken, would you be able to reconnect with your contacts at the school district? Whoever you worked with last year, was it Jeff Carr? Was that his name?
I believe that's correct. I can look back in my records and find out. Yep.
Yeah. You really made some amazing inroads. They had signs up at the district office last year.
Yeah, and the high school. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was really fantastic. And do you think it makes sense to reach out to Mary and Krishna? I don't know.
Certainly could. We certainly could ask them,
So can I put your name on that to reach out to the school district?
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that.
Awesome. Okay. And then let's see. I don't think there's much more we need to do. Oh, I already put Ashley's name on that.
Teresa, would you like for me to reach out to MG21 about any kind of student involvement as part of their stewardship commitment?
Sure. Just to sort of see what they're doing, see what they've already got in the works, or,
Right, and if they even have capacity to do something like, I don't know, I think I saw in there on one of your notes, like an art installation or,
yeah, we talked about that last month when we met. We were just kind of like throwing ideas out at that point.
yeah,
Um,
but we can see if anything is in the works or what they might have an appetite for.
And I think that would be fantastic.
Okay,
And
Actually,
here
that's,
we have something, I think last month we talked about building a rain garden, but I'm just gonna like remove that and to explore collaboration. How about that?
yeah,
Would that be enough?
I think
Because
that's appropriate.
as long as it's about like bees and pollinators, which I understand that rain gardens are part of it, you know, but to not get too crazy on the scope and keep it down to that message about bees and pollinators. Now we also talked about like a window painting contest for kids. Again, don't have to do it. We don't have to do it. It's a lot. It's a lot of work, but let's see. I think we've got a nice list.
one other note from the library perspective, on April 25th, we are having Krishna come to talk to the community about what students are doing in terms of climate change. And so kind of getting an idea of what's already existing there. And I think one of the questions I was hoping we might be able to ask him to is, whatever community is coming, to find out a little bit more about what their requirements are for like stewardship or whatever, graduation or, to see where there might be some way to mesh community interest and or evaluate community interest in projects and relative to what students are either expected to do or want to do.
Is that something you would like us to do for this particular campaign? Is that what for the bee and pollinator campaign?
I can certainly ask them that at the meeting after.
No, I don't think we should be collecting, well, I mean, if you're committed to making it happen, I don't want to hold you back.
Mhm.
But I'm not asking you to do that. I'm just wondering, I just wanted to make sure I understood, that's all, what you were proposing.
Well, it's not that's what the meeting is gonna be, what they're doing.
Oh, okay,
Just an informational meeting, but that also makes the community more aware of that involvement. And I think a lot of people commit to kids, so it's a way of building that relationship. I'm hoping, that was our.
Krishna's great. Stu,
Yeah.
I wonder, do you think you would be interested in working on the subcommittee for the Bee City? Is that something that you're drawn to, or are you already busy enough with the eco action?
Well, right now I've got a lot
Want
of,
to load you up?
yeah, right, because we're still working out that
Okay,
project.
okay.
I've been hesitant to do stuff up front here because we're pretty engaged in that right now.
Sounds great.
If Kristen doesn't mind working with me again, I'd be willing to work on the Bee City thing as well.
You are gonna be
Yay!
stiff. Krista.
I would love it.
That too, I wouldn't mind that.
You're hilarious, you ladies.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Sue, I missed what you just said.
I said you can add me to them too.
Awesome. Okay, I just want to be mindful of your time.
Sorry.
Okay, fantastic. So I'm just looking at the bold stuff. I think we have enough going on. Thor, am I missing anything? I think I'm satisfied with what we've got here for our. So objective, raise awareness about bees, protecting bees and pollinators. And No Mow May is one of the strategies.
Mhm.
but we're gonna raise awareness about other strategies. Is that what I'm hearing?
Not necessarily this time, I didn't think. Wasn't that data kind of?
I'll rework the objective and I'll send it out. How about that? I want to, it's almost 8 o'clock here. I'm good. I'm good with, is there anyone else that thinks we should add more or remove some things from our to-do list? The things that I've got in bold are sort of the things that we'll be doing.
Teresa, quick question from, just wondering about, I know you don't have due dates assigned yet.
Right, right.
What should we be aiming for? I guess it'd be help to know kind of a bit of a milestone about the Bee City information, or do you want me to take that offline with you? Or for us to, our subgroup to kind of reach back with you?
Why don't we take that offline?
Okay,
And I think we've got some really great community volunteers that we'll bring into that subgroup as well.
yeah, that sounds great. Okay.
Yeah. I'm kind of losing steam. Why don't we, Thor and I will get together and we can put some due dates on that column. How about that? Yeah, I think we're good. I've just lost steam.
Mhm.
Anything
all
else,
there.
guys? I don't know, just all of a sudden lost it. I just think we're doing, I think it's great. I think it's really good. All right. In that case, is there anything that anyone wants to say, one final thing about the scope of our project? Or, and I will go back and I'll add the things we talked about as far as the ways that we're going to measure, and I'll rework that. But otherwise, any other things, any other? In that case, what I'm going to do then is bop back up to our agenda for the meeting, and I think we're done. Quickly, I just want to, under new business, diversity, equity, inclusion, diversity items. Mary has appointed me to the implementation team for the city's DEIB plan. We've had 3 meetings so far. We're working with Nehemiah. It's really a fantastic group, and we are tasked with bringing recommendations to the council for them to consider. And important updates from committee members or items to consider for future agendas. I just want to share with everyone that for those that missed last month's meeting, Thor and I reported back letting you know that we met with Brad Brune. We reviewed the sustainability plan. There's some really nice forward movement or potential forward movement on how we can move that through each city department and meet with city leaders. And Thor and I continue to get that rolling. So hopefully, maybe even by next month, we'll have something really positive to report back on that. Otherwise, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
That was from Kristen. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
From Ashley? All in favor, say aye.
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 All right. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate
Thanks. Have a
all
good
of
night.
your great ideas and commitments. Thanks, Dan. See everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.